Let's take a trip back to the 80s. Things were really different for the muscle car now. They didn't come with big blocks anymore. They came with motors that were detuned and choked out with emissions, but they handled well and they braked decent, and they were fun to drive. Chevrolet had the Monte Carlo, the Malibu, the El Camino. GMC had the Caballero. Pontiac had the Grand Prix and the Bonneville. Buick had the Regal, the T-Type, the Grand National, and the G&X. And Oldsmobile had the Cutlass and also the Hurst Olds. The 80s wasn't just about bad haircuts, Metallica, Atari, and Star Trek. It had its finer points, and that was the G-Body. Starting in the late 70s, GM had the A-Body, which was essentially the same thing, but later they just changed it to the G-Body. February 2025 will mark 13 years since I've had a G-Body, and although I've had a lot of cars come and go and even added more to the collection, that's about 12 years too long. What's up, everybody? This is going to be a totally different video than what I usually do. This is a G-Body video, and it has changed direction probably 10 different times now since I started making this video. So in December, I started looking for a G-Body. I was looking for a very specific one, and I have looked daily since starting, and I have had zero results. Yes, I'm looking for a very specific one, but you would think it would be a little easier to find as they made plenty of them. And that's not the case. Most of you who watch this channel are car people, and I'm going to be asking some questions to get kind of a feel from what you guys think. G-Bodies have gone insane in their prices. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had one. I've had a few. They were great. I had a 78 El Camino with a 496 big block in it. I also had a 86 Monte Carlo Super Sport that was built, had a built 350 in it, full manual valve body. The car was just awesome. It was meant to go in a straight line, but it was still a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it was missing some things and needed quite a bit of work, and I was heading off to school, so I ended up getting rid of it. But tell me if G-Bodies haven't somewhat disappeared, but also have gone up insane in value. And I frequent a lot of car shows. I go to all kinds of different car shows. I recently went to one car show and they had 4 there, which absolutely blew me away because 10 other car shows that I've been into in the last 5 months, there wasn't a single one at any of them. And that kind of blows my mind because, like I said, there was plenty of them at one time, and as far as I'm concerned, they're a well-liked car amongst car enthusiasts. But the prices are insane, and tell me if you agree with me or not, because I can find an 87 Monte Carlo Super Sport, and they're wanting almost the same amount of money as what I can go buy a 66 Chevelle for. The cars that are out there, if they're not super expensive, are rusted to no end. And I'm talking firewalls gone, floors are gone, everything around the back windows just rotted out. It's kind of crazy. So you're probably thinking he wants a Grand National. He wants to buy a Grand National. Grand Nationals are the greatest. Everybody loves Grand National. Yes, I love Grand National, and there's a huge hype on them right now. But that's not what I wanted. And my dad had a Grand National. I loved it. It was a nice car, but that's not the direction I was going. I would like to have one, not knocking them, and I think they're cool. But I was looking for a 1983 Cutlass Hurst Olds, which is basically it's the black silver on bottom. I'll put a picture up. That is the body. That is the car I wanted. That is the G-Body I wanted. And they are hard to find, and they are a fortune when you do find one. And if you do find one in good shape, you're talking, I've seen them anywhere from $20,000 all the way up to $60,000, which is absurd for me. Anybody paying $60,000 for one, I don't care if it's got 3 miles on it, and you have money and you want to put it in a museum, good for you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have a nice driver that is not quite mint, maybe like an 8 out of 10, something I can put the family in and enjoy. I want T-tops. That's another issue that's hard to find because a lot of them didn't have T-tops, it seems. All of them came automatic, 204R with the lightning rod shifters, which are pretty cool. And that was the only year for that paint scheme. The following year, 1984, they were silver on top, black on the bottom. So they basically swapped it for the following year. And there's other cool G bodies. You know, there's the Malibu. I love wagons. Malibu wagon would be cool. That's not really what I want. El Camino, I've been down that road. I love El Caminos. I will definitely have another El Camino, but it's not what I want. And the Monte Carlo Super Sport, again, cool, just not what I want. And then you have the Buick Regal T-Type, which I would want, but Buick Regal T-Types are also a lot of money, and yeah, they're hard to find. It seems like the Grand National is way easier to find than a nice T-Type. So then I started thinking maybe I should just get a 442. The 442 came after the Hurst Olds. It basically was from 1985 right up to like 1987. I don't think 1988, but I was like, let me find a 442. Those are now hard to find. And when you find one, those are a lot of money. Then I started thinking, now I'm settling. And that's not what I want to do. Every car I bought, I didn't really settle. If it wasn't exactly what I wanted, I didn't get it. I made that mistake in the past. You know, I bought cars that I really liked and there was something off about them. Like, for example, I had an '01 Trans Am, sunset orange, metallic, burnt orange, and it was everything I wanted except it was an automatic. And because it was an automatic, it just never felt like a keeper to me. I wanted something that was a 6-speed instead, so I ended up not keeping it. So I don't want to settle. I don't want to just pick something because I'm looking for something and I can't find what I want. So you tell me, as somebody who's into cars, if you like G-bodies, if you're a G-body person, you tell me if in your area there is G-bodies that are at a reasonable price, because I've looked all over the Southeast. I even started thinking about going out west, like California, Washington, Oregon, and then buying something and driving it home, making a trip out of it. And even out there, I mean, obviously the price of things are probably going to be higher out there than they are down here in Florida. So in the G-body community, if you're in the G-body community, you tell me what you're seeing, because it doesn't look like they're a reasonable price car anymore. When I was into them 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I actually was paying, you know, they were around 10 grand for a nice one. And that one was one that wasn't really hacked up, didn't have a lot of rust. And I'm wondering if those days are just gone now. For months, I've sat right here at this desk and cussed at this computer screen many times over because I can't find the right deal. And I'll show you some of the things that I've seen along the way. It's kind of crazy. All right, so here's the old faithful Facebook Marketplace. I have searched high and low, and I've kind of given up a couple weeks ago, but you know, this one's popped up. That's not what I'm looking for. You can tell based on this here in this area, and also this sticker here, that this was an IAA car, which is Insurance Auto Auctions. When you see junk signs that say "we buy junk cars," this is typically where some of those end up, is at the Insurance Auto Auctions. So that's not a car I was interested in, but that's been for sale for a while now. This Grand National has been for sale for a while. It is a full-blown project. Nice project, don't get me wrong. This is new. I haven't seen this one yet. One picture, so no title, body only. So not interested in that. Here is an El Camino. This guy's just selling parts off of it. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see this guy. This guy's had it for sale for a bit. It's a nice car, aftermarket wheels, but factory style. And this is part of his brother's collection, I guess. He's in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm not really against buying a car out of state, because I was considering buying this car out of state. And this car is $26,000, but here's my issue with this car. It's not what I want to spend. That's more, and it's probably worth every penny to the right person. So typical, I will not respond to this as available. I don't blame him. Car will be sold on a bill of sale, and here is why. This car is from the state of Georgia. If I bring it to Florida, I need to have a title. Well, buying a car out of Georgia and bringing it to Florida with a bill of sale, I have to get the VIN verified, then I have to pay extra money for a title transfer, and then I have to title it. It could open me up to some issues, which there's people that do this all the time and they say that they have no issues doing it. I'm just not willing to spend this kind of money to take the chance on having any kind of issues with buying a car on a bill of sale. And from my understanding, they can get a title in the state of Georgia. They have to request it. I'm just not going to go through all that, especially when I haven't even seen the car. These popped up. Those are very nice. Don't get me wrong. Not what I'm looking for. But you see I have in Hurst Olds, and so far only 2 have popped up. Only one of what I'm looking for with the black on top. So if you keep scrolling, they're just nowhere to be found. This is a fully built car. It's very nice. Let's see. $59,000. I mean, $59,000. I just don't see it. Maybe they will go for that. 93,000 original miles. It looks like it's really nice. Not knocking them. But $59,000, I just don't see it. That's big block Chevelle money, and you could even pocket some money with a big block Chevelle. There was a clone on here for a while. I don't know what happened to the clone. But let's say we move out of state and we go to another state and do this search. So let's say, let's go Tennessee. All right, so Nashville. And we do a search for Hurst Olds in Nashville. Nothing, not at all. Anderson, Alabama, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So it's in the right area, but nothing. So then you get down here. So this is Nashville, Illinois. I haven't seen this one yet. 23,500, and it's not the paint scheme that I want. So let's see. It does look like it has T-tops. Has power windows. Not all of them do. Yep, it does have the T-tops. So he might get it. That's out. And see here. Here's the other thing. It is a tribute. It's not even a legit Hurst Olds. It is a clone. So there's that. This one's a full-blown project. 11 grand. If I remember correctly, the interior is absolutely no. Maybe this isn't the one. There was one just similar to it that had a lot of interior issues. This one seems to be somewhat of a project. You can see the headliner is a little bit messed up there, but yeah, it's been sitting for a long time. So who knows what the wiring is going to look like. Definitely is going to need probably tires, brakes, all kinds of stuff. And at 11 Gs, good for them. I mean, somebody will probably come along and get it, but it's just not going to be me. So I had mentioned earlier in the video that this video is taken direction 10 times. Originally, I was starting off to do an adventure, like a YouTube video of going to get a car, having fun, driving it home, big smiles, the whole 9 yards. That's not going to happen at this point. I have pretty much decided to just hold off, and here's a couple of reasons why. Prices of them, you see, they're really high. They're hard to find. If I do find one, I have to drive quite a ways to find that car, and I don't really want to take the risk of traveling 500-600 miles, even further, to come up with a car that isn't what is described, which seems to be a realistic issue nowadays. Back in the day, Craigslist, it seemed like people were more honest. Marketplace can be a whole nother world. So I don't want to settle, so I'm going to just hold off. So this video was originally intended for you guys to join me in that adventure, but that's not going to happen. And if you like G-bodies, leave me a comment on what you like out of the G-body group, what kind of car you're into. I had a huge thing for El Caminos for years, and I thought about that, but I can't load a family up unless I tell the wife to bird dog it, which means riding in the bed, and I don't really want to do that. So you guys are gonna just have to hang in there with me if you're into the G-body stuff and my G-body videos. They will come at some point, but they're just not gonna be right now. So instead, I have decided, instead of taking the money and putting it towards that, I have other cars. If you watch the channel, I have several Corvettes, Camaros, a couple classic cars, things like that. and I'm going to start putting the money that direction and doing some things. So I just bought some pretty cool stuff for my C5Z, and it's on its way. Should be here next week, and I will have a video doing that and installing it with a buddy of mine, and just finally accomplishing little things that I've needed to do to these cars, because when you have quite a few cars, sometimes the little things pile up on you, and that's where I'm at right now. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me what you think Gbody wise. What's your favorite? Have you had any luck finding one? If you picked one up recently, or if you have a cool story about one, I'd definitely love to hear it. And I will catch you guys on the next one.